Whew, it's a crispy morning. It was 33 degrees when I woke up this morning. I had a third cup of coffee before I called James and I said, okay, let's go. We're gonna go catch a few fish. Beautiful fall morning. You know, it's gonna get up to maybe 45, 43 to 45. Wind is blowing a little bit, so we opted to go do a little river fishing for smallies, something we love to do. And we'll talk a little bit about catching smallmouth in rivers in one of the major transitions times of the year where they make a big, big movement. Big, predictable movement. And that's the key word. It is a predictable seasonal pattern that you could count on for smallmouth anywhere in the country if you fish rivers. Got your attention?
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride.
As Al was saying, you know, one thing that's really dynamic about rivers is the majority of various fish species. In this case, we happen to be fishing smallmouth bass, but muskies, walleyes, crappies make really pretty dramatic movements in rivers. And what the real key is a lot of times what these fish do is they have the tendency to gather in very specific spots to overwinter. And what I mean by that, throughout the summer months, a lot of the smallmouth bass in this particular system, there's probably about 120 miles of water, they were spread out throughout the summer on the shallow water flats way upriver, you know, in this system, you know, 50, 60 miles away. Come fall, once that water temperature gets into the 50-degree range, they start to think about where they're gonna sleep for the next 6 months. And what they do is they have the tendency to go to two different places. And in this, for smallmouth bass anyway, they go to the above a dam or below a dam. And what that is slower, slack water areas that they set up for the overwinter. Catfish, by the same token, actually have the tendency to gather in the deep water holes in a river. So what you see is this great consolidation, I should say, of these various fish species in these rivers, and that's what we're focusing on right now. These fish are dropping down from way upriver to the lower end or right above a dam where they're going to set up camp. Okay, we should get one right about in here. Oh, look at that. He's just looking at it. Wow.
That's a smallmouth, Pete, here.
There you got him. Big smallmouth. Big whopper. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I saw him chase it up. And he killed it right by the side of the boat, and then he came up and looked at it. Great big one, Al. This guy here, would you mind if you want to net him? Yeah, it'd be so much easier.
Yeah,
I just had jerkbait with.
These fish are tanks, Jim.
Yeah, they really are. Wow, that's a whopper there. Come here, buddy. What do you think about that little rascal?
Oh, look at that. He came off, didn't he?
Wow, that's a tank. Look at that guy there.
Now
Beautiful
you're talking.
fish. There's more of them. Wow.
This segment is brought to you by Sunset Country, Ontario, Canada. You gotta come visit.
What a beautiful animal. The interesting thing is that these fish here are only here at this time of the year. I mean, if you were to come here throughout the summer months, yes, there is a resident population of smallmouth, but it's actually relatively low. These fish are actually coming from a long distance away. I've actually caught them actually up to, you know, pretty close to 100 miles up that way, up the river. But when they get down here, look at the size of that thing. Boy, what a beautiful fish. Look at that thing. Boy, look at that. Is that a beautiful fish? Look at that thing. Gorgeous. Oh, wow. This Rapala Mavrik. This is one of the really key baits throughout the cold water period. The reason being is the biggest thing is the ability to suspend, sit in a fixed position. You know, we have a wide variety of different baits on the deck. I got a spinner bait, I got a swim jig, I got a shallow running crankbait. We have Ned rigs, but each one of them have their time and place. But this one here, when the water gets colder and those fish are they get really sort of tentative to bite, the ability to, you know, that erratic behavior and pause the bait in a given spot is one key triggering presentation for big smallmouths at this time of the year. Let's see if we can get another one.
Yeah, it's interesting. Right now, in my area, the area that Jim and I live in, the lakes are in turnover. Most of the lakes are around 59, 60, 61 degrees. And the fishing for bass, for everything, has been really sporadic, really weird. And the reason for that is the turnover. And one thing about rivers, running water, or shallow water lakes that are constantly oxygenated, you know, you don't have to worry about turnover. Yeah, you know, so that's another big plus to get on spots like this during the turnover period. If you got moving water, current, we're talking smallmouth, but the principle holds true for muskies, it holds true for bass, it holds true for walleyes. You know, I want to overcome the blues of turnover. Go to some moving water.
It's always intriguing to me, right now we caught these last couple of them on that jerkbait, but what you have to understand, we actually had a really weird cold front that came through. The water temperature really took a dump over the last couple of days, and
you want a net?
yeah, we're gonna need the net on this one here. This is like a stellar big boy. Man, how do you like the size of these little wranglers? Come here, buddy. Oh, look
When you start catching fish like that on jerkbaits with 3 sets of trebles,
yeah,
you want the net out.
No, I'm all over the net, absolutely. This bait was actually designed by a lot of the bass guys. Really were insistent on the 3 hooks in there. The biggest thing is that bait is really castable with a bait casting rod too as well. Boy, are they cool? Man, we're talking giants. Okay, look at that. Wow, that's really some really big smallmouths. You know, Rapala makes a wide variety of different minnow bait profiles. If I had to identify one of my all-time favorites, it's the X-Rap. It's an unbelievable bait. I've caught multiple species of fish on it. It has a round body and it's super erratic behavior. They make another bait called the Shadow. Now the Shadow is a lot, how should I say, tighter wiggle to it and a lot more of a subtle presentation. It doesn't have that really super erratic behavior of a X-Rap. This one here is almost like in between the two, but this one here also, it was like induced by the pros. They designed this for the pros. It's castable on a bait casting rod. It's got 3 hooks, which is really key, but the thing is, it's got erratic behavior, and then it's got like this suspending nature, but it also is like head down, and those guys like that. I don't know why, but they like that head down cant on the bait when you're killing the lure.
Oh, got him, got him. That's the right one. That's the right one. Oh, that's the right one. I don't know if she's like that other one, but she's right.
This boat is rigged up about as nice.
Easy to use, and it flat out works.
It's a must-have when you're talking about big waves. Well, these trout are so darn tough.
Incredible 11-year warranty.
So that was on a number 8 Shad Rap.
Your style of boat control is really key.
One that was there from the very beginning.
You want to be able to see in the water. The adventure begins.
I do know this, it's a netter.
Yeah. I can handle that.
Holy mackerel, is that a walleye?
What?
Almost looked like a walleye, Jim. Holy mackerel. It is, it's a big walleye.
Big wallow?
Yeah,
Huh, what size?
big.
What does that mean?
It's big like I need a net big.
Yeah, nice. I'm not afraid to bite on jerkbaits every once in a while.
Every once in a while, no.
Come here, buddy. Come here. Whoa. There we go.
All right.
Minimize my,
Minimize the tangle.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Untangle that for me, would you please?
Okay.
It's a little bonus fish to come along with the day. And it isn't rare this time of the year on these lakes that we fish while you're jerking like this in the river systems. You get a bonus walleye, and it ain't ever a little gal. Minnesota gold. I love when bonuses happen in between big giant smallmouths. Oh, how sweet it is. How sweet it is. Okay, baby, go ahead. Whew. Jim and I are throwing bait casting rods, and we've got Suffix fluorocarbon on. I got 14-pound fluorocarbon on this particular rod. This is a Legend X, St. Croix Legend X, and this is a Daiwa Steve's Reel. This combination is gold. It's a little bit spendy. If you can afford it, you're fishing the best of the best as far as equipment goes. And remember, fluorocarbon is perfect for jerkbait fishing. Fluorocarbon, best way I can describe it, it's a heavier, denser line. You know, and it's actually kind of weighted. It holds baits different, like suspended jerk baits. You'll notice the difference between fluorocarbon and, let's say mono, and I don't know why you'd ever want mono in a jerkbait. Or a lot of guys still jerk with a fluorocarbon leader and braided line backup. But I like all fluorocarbon on my jerkbait rods, and it just presents the bait more efficiently. You'll see more fish. You'll get more strikes, I'm convinced of it.
Interesting thing is, you know, when you're looking for these river smallmouths like this at this time of the year, current is still really super important. We're actually in more of the wider section of the river where it's actually dumping into a reservoir. But the thing is where we're fishing at, there's still very, very specific places, or like current pushes, where these fish are focused at this time of the year. Come here. Oh, wow. Wow. Holy mackerel. Man.
Here comes the net man.
Yeah.
Well, this fish is really working. This might be one of them.
Yeah. Look at it, they're all the same size.
They're just all.
Wow. Oh.
That's a light running sixer.
Yeah, it is.
Give or take a few ounces here or there.
Wow. Look at that. Gosh darn it.
Timing on this bite is so incredible, and when you learn what to look for and understands what's happening, you know, you can catch fish of a lifetime, one right after the other, after the other, after the other.
But as I was saying, you know what I mean, that even in this cold water period, in these, you know, when you jump into like these reservoirs, the fish are really still relating to a current, very, very specific spots. Let me share a couple of different ideas on how and where these fish are focused in these river systems at this time of the year. We'll get her back in the drink. Boy, I mean, I'm not kidding you. Look at the size of these things. That's beautiful bass though. Holy mackerel.
As we've said, river smallmouths make dynamic seasonal movements throughout a season. As the water starts to dip into the low 50s in fall, you will see the initial movement from their shallow fastwater summer habitat to their overwintering areas above and below dams in any river system. As far as specific types of spots to look for, main river channel points and flats gather moving fish. Any channel swings that focus current are key. Sunken islands are another option. One important thought, most of these spots are directly adjacent to the main river channel. In early fall, with the water temperature in the 50s, it's common to catch these fish on shallow flats anywhere from 4 to 8 foot of water. As the water temperature dumps into the 40s, these fish gradually slip into deeper water, say 10 to as deep as 20 foot.
You know, one thing that's really vitally important whenever you're fishing a river is your casting angle. And what I mean by that, because what we're doing is facing into the current is coming from that way, this way. The fish are facing upstream, so what we want to do is quarter cast. We're casting across the current and sweeping it back, so when the baits are working, it's bringing it into the fish's face. A lot of people don't think about that, but it's really, really important for just about any different river fishing situation, whether fishing with a crankbait, a spinnerbait, a swim bait, topwater baits. We are always fishing, presenting the baits in that same fashion. There, a lot of times you can see them. You can see my lure. This is the bait. And a lot of times you see them come up and hit the lure. They actually come up and chase the bait. Cool thing about this Mega is actually for cast plate replacement. In a lot of cases, what we're doing is I can actually look down the length of the ledge, and you can more accurately pick apart a spot just on that point. You know, a lot of people, you know, when they look at this forward-facing sonar, it's all about you know, sight fishing or head hunting individual fish, but I think there's a lot more to it than just that. I know for, you know, just about for any different species of fish, whether you're fishing rocks or weeds or ledges, your ability to more accurately place your baits, because I can pan around and see the edge of the weed, see the transitions of rocks out in front of the boat, you know. Like right here, you can see that's a bunch of, like a little bit of a weed edge right there, and then it dumps off here. So I can quite accurately cast out 60 feet out, there's that clump of weeds right there.
This is one of those that is nudging, you know, somewhere between here and here and here, somewhere in there. The big fish, big fish.
Wow.
I like closing, you know, late in the season when you start catching those 22 of them, 5.5, 6 pound brownies.
Wow.
Boy, she's pulling, man. She's
Man,
tough.
she's a whopper. I'm not kidding you.
Is.
Look at that thing.
Ooh.
Wow. Oh.
Holy mackerel.
Oh, wow. That's what you call a real tank. Come here, buddy.
Look at her, look at her. Oh,
Oh, look at that.
We are loaded for bear. We got
You know,
pikes.
there's so many different ways to fish for walleye. Dependability and efficiency.
Simple, fast, and easy.
The best rods on the planet. They like to eat when you're throwing the right thing.
You don't have all bluebird flat calm days.
Just a perfect eating size fish. See, that's what I'm talking about, these Daiwa drag.
We got walleye stuff, we got crappie stuff, we got pike stuff.
There you go.
Now that is what I call a handful of giant smallmouth. Jim, you want to help me here a minute? Wait, I got it. I got it.
Look at that.
I got it. Look at
Look
this.
at
Woo! Now this, you know, it's possible that this might end up being my biggest smallmouth for the fall season before we call it a wrap here. I mean, this is a giant. You know, people often ask us, when's your favorite time to fish? It's the month of October. For everything, smallmouth, largemouth, muskies, crappies, pike, walleyes. Why? The biggest fish of every species are on the chew. And you know, we're talking mainly smallmouth now, and some of the presentations that work this time of the year for them. But the principle of understanding seasonal movements, predictable seasonal movements of every kind of fish that you fish for, whether they're smallmouth, largemouth, muskies, whatever, skyrockets your odds of catching big fish like that on a consistent basis. Remember, it's a predictable pattern that happens every year. And once you learn what it is, take advantage of it. It's the best fishing times to hit those peak, what we call peak periods, magic days on the water.
Wow. Okay, I even got your bait off.
Oh. Mavrik scores again on the giants. Giant brown bass. Like I said, I wake up in the middle of a night in the winter dreaming about the fall bite on jerkbaits like this. Helps me get through the winter when fish like this are living under 3 to 4 feet of ice piled up together in their wintering holes. Right now, all they're doing is feeding up to get big bellies on them to rest for a long winter's night. I can't think of many things more exciting than what we're doing right now as far as catching fish. No matter what they are, this kind of fishing for them big brown bass just gets my adrenaline going. Hey, got to share a story with you. A couple weeks ago, a friend of mine called me from Minneapolis. We've been trying to get together off and on for about 3 months. We both got busy schedules. He says, I'm going to be in Brainerd, my hometown. This is Friday night, he calls me. Can we get away for dinner on Saturday evening at about 5 o'clock? And then he had something he had to do later. And we'll get caught up on a bunch of things. I said, yeah, this works. I'm back in town. Let's do it. So we get together. Now, my friend is dealing with some serious issues of life. Yeah, you know, just things that happen in life. And he's sharing these things with me, you know, we kind of prayed together, and we're close on a lot of things. We've known each other for many, many years. And we're getting caught up on on what you're doing, how's business going, you know, all of the things you normally talk about. And then all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, he looks at me like this and he says, Al, do you think you'll ever get married again? I didn't expect that one. Al, do you think you'll ever get married again? Well, it's been, as I sit here, it's been 1 year and 10 months since my wife passed away, went home to be with Jesus. And after being together for 49 years, it's been a major adjustment, as you can imagine. There was a gap that I had to fill. And what I did over this period of time, I threw myself into my work, and, you know, which I like to do. It occupies myself, it keeps me focused. You know, I got way more involved in the things of God, and I'm praying more than ever. And I don't want to sound like a smart aleck or not, but my walk with the Lord is better than it's ever been. I'm closer to God than I have ever been. And that gives me great peace and contentment. What does the future bring? As I told them, I'm not looking. I'm not on social media sites. I'm not looking to develop a relationship. What I do, my life is really simple now. I eat, sleep, fish some more, pray some more, spend some more time in God's Word, and each day just gets fulfilled. I'm content. I'm happy where I'm at. Now, I also said I would not close the door. I'm not going to close the door. But God, in your love and mercy and everything, if you have to, I'd have to trip over to know if there's going to be a relationship, because I don't have an interest right now. You know, will things change in time? I have no idea. But right now, I'm totally content where I'm at. And I kind of had to share that with you. Some of you are probably going through issues like this, the issues of life that we all deal with. And there's a peace and contentment that comes from God's Word that can't come from anything else. He loves you, cares about you, and wants the best for you. From all of us here at The Edge, have a good, safe fishing season. See you on the water.